Hola y bienvenidos a Sex and Spanglish, where we empower mujeres to get in touch with their bodies, own their pleasure, and where we discuss all the cochinadas our abuelas didn't tell us about. I'm Ana Lopez, sexpert, future doctora, certified sex and life coach, proud Latina, and your go-to guide for all things sex. I'm here to help you kick vergüenza to the curb and teach you to have guilt-free sexual pleasure. Basically, I'm here to help you have mind-blowing sex without all the guilt and shame you learned growing up. Let's be real. La comunidad latina doesn't talk about sex, pero que suerte tienes because this Latina does. It is my vision to have Latinas worldwide discussing sex with one another just like they do with chisme. Así que, prepárate. I'm about to change the way you view sex para siempre. Welcome back to another episode of the Sex and Spanglish podcast. I am feeling really good today. Over the past, I would say 4 days, I was feeling extremely exhausted. At first I thought I was getting sick, and then I decided, to take some rest. I didn't go to the gym. I went to sleep early, and then I didn't feel like I was getting sick anymore, but I was so fucking tired. Like, I was exhausted. I literally went to sleep, or I took a nap at 5, woke up at 7, and then I was up for 30 minutes and then went back to sleep and didn't wake up until 8:30. So I went to sleep last night, around probably 10:30. And I woke up on my own at 5. And I was kind of tired when I woke up, but I feel so much more like myself. So anyways, I'm just super excited to record. I'm feeling really good. I got some great feedback from my Sinvergüenzas, the ladies that are in my 6-month coaching program, La Sinvergüenza Symposium. They reached out to me yesterday, letting me know, celebrating themselves about all the improvements that they're making in their sex life. And so I'm super excited about that, and still kind of riding that high to see the impact that my coaching is having on these ladies and their sex lives, so their relationships and things like that. So super exciting, and I will actually read one of those testimonials at the end. So let's get into today's episode. We are going to be talking about religion today. We're also going to be talking about being vanilla or conservative or modest, right? So very I'm going to call it less open sexually. Because I think that oftentimes when I say hey, I'm a sex coach, people just assume that I'm out here riding every dick that comes along, or super open sexually, all these things, right? And not to say that I'm not open sexually, and not as an open relationship, but open as in talking about these things and talking about kinks and fetishes. I'm actually obsessed with fetishes. I'm really obsessed with learning about them. But there's this common misconception that in order to work with me, you have to have this desire to want to be this super freaky porn star status. And you have to be super comfortable talking about sex and all these things. And that's definitely not true whatsoever. I have worked with plenty of women that have the belief, for example, that, you shouldn't have sex before marriage. I don't hold that belief. However, I'm not going to tell you to change your mind. And you don't have to change that opinion in order to work with me, or in order to work on your sex life. You can still believe and hold on to the belief that you shouldn't have sex before marriage, or that anyone shouldn't have sex before marriage, whatever, or any other religious belief that you have as it relates to sex. It is not my job as your coach to change your opinion on those things. That we would just be arguing back and forth, right? You can believe whatever the fuck you want to believe. My job as your coach is to then take those beliefs and say, okay, what do you want to do with these? And how do you want to incorporate these into your sex lives? What I will not allow you to do as your coach is let you use those beliefs against you. So I also have many clients that believe that individuals should not have sex before marriage. Again, totally fine if that is your belief. However, many of them also had sex before marriage, and they're still using that against them today, right? They're shaming themselves, they're judging themselves for having done that years ago at this point. That is something I will not tolerate as a coach. You can still come and work with me if you are doing that, and if that is you, I definitely encourage you to do so, because there's literally nothing that you gain out of shaming yourself and judging yourself and guilting yourself over something that you did some odd years ago. So that is like the one caveat that I have. I will not allow you to use your beliefs against you. Even if I don't hold those same beliefs, I'm not going to let you use your own beliefs against you. That makes no sense. It doesn't serve anyone. So that being said, if you consider yourself religious or spiritual or whatever the fuck, and you hold beliefs that are like spiritual related or sexually related that may not be the same as mine, that is totally fine. You are more than welcome to come and work with me. I am not going to change your beliefs. I'm not going to try to change your beliefs. That is not my job. My job is to help you explore those beliefs and see how you want to take those beliefs and incorporate them into your sex life. Just because you have those beliefs, maybe some more, we'll call them more like conservative beliefs, doesn't mean that you can't have an amazing sex life as well. And for my non-religious, not spiritual, but vanilla preferenced folks, so my listeners that are like, well, I just want to have like basic ass sex and I don't want to, have all the whips and chains and, whatever. That is totally fine too. You can still do that, right? Like, I'm not telling you that you can't do any of that. You get to come with those preferences. Working with me isn't about adding whips and chains. It's not about adding toys and props and all the things. Yes, we can definitely talk about that, and we can definitely add that to your, room or whatever. But that is not what is going to get you having amazing sex. It's not the position. It's not the toys. It's not the person. It's not the place. It's not the props. It's you and your mind, right? Because pleasure comes from your mind. There are people that are in the BDSM community that have bad sex all the time. There are people that are in the vanilla community that have bad sex all the time. And there are people in both communities that have good sex all the time, right? It's not about the type of sex or the toy or the prop or the person, right? It's about you and your brain and what your thoughts are about the type of sex that you're having and what you are making it mean about you, about your relationship, all those things. So if you are listening to this and you're like, okay, yeah, I need some help doing this, I invite you to get on my waitlist for La Sinvergüenza Symposium. The link to join is in the show notes. It's totally free to get on the waitlist. Don't worry. Just put your name on there and we'll talk. And even if you're like, hey, you know what? Like, I'm not even sure this is for me. That's totally fine. I would much rather you get on the waitlist and us have a conversation about it, get your questions answered, and see if it's a good fit for you, than you just sit here in indecision and questioning whether or not this is for you. Because as we know, indecision is the kryptonite to orgasms. So that is all I have for y'all today. Hold on to your beliefs, hold on to your preferences, because it has nothing to do with why you aren't enjoying sex. I'll talk to y'all next week. Hey mujer, this is your invitation to join La Sinvergüenza Symposium. Redefine what it means to be a sinvergüenza and learn to do the things you enjoy without shitting on yourself. The waitlist is open and ready for your name. The link to join is in the show notes. If you like what you heard, be sure to hit the subscribe button to be notified when new episodes are released. Join me every week to hear me talk about orgasms, foreskin, dildos, and all the other cochinadas your abuela didn't tell you about. But that's not all. We'll also discuss machismo, la tía metiche, and sexual stories from other Latinas just like you. And if you're ready to start spicing up your sex life tonight, then be sure to download my free ebook, Spice It Up con la Sex Coach. You can find the link in the show notes. And finally, let's keep in touch. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Sex and Spanglish. Be sure to follow me and let me know you heard this episode. Deseándote todo el placer, porque el placer es poder.